By the time you see anything, it has already happened. Right now, you are not seeing the present. You are seeing the recent past, a version of this moment that your brain finished building about 1/10 of a second ago. The light landing in your eye as you read this will not become the experience of seeing for another fraction of a second, and by then, the world has already moved on without you. Sit with how strange that is. Every face you have ever looked at, you saw a fraction of a second after it actually moved. Every word you have heard, every glance, every ball you ever caught, you met all of it slightly late. You have lived your entire life one single beat behind reality. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. You have never once caught it happening, not for a single moment. The lag is always there, and it has always felt perfectly, seamlessly live. That is not luck, a delay that constant should be impossible to miss. You should feel the world running ahead of you, the way a video call drifts out of sync with someone's lips. You never do, which means your brain is not just running late. It is actively hiding the delay from you, and it is extraordinarily good at it. You can even put a number on the lag. Visual timing work pulled together by Hogendoorn at the University of Melbourne in a 2020 paper in the Journal of Neuroscience traces the path. Light reaches your primary visual cortex roughly 50 to 70 milliseconds after it hits the eye. And before that signal can drive a conscious perception, you are 100, sometimes 120 milliseconds behind the event, 1/10 of a second, every waking moment of your life that you were never meant to notice. So here's the question that should bother you, the one this whole investigation circles. If your brain is permanently running 1/10 of a second behind reality, why has the present never, not once, felt late? Why does catching a ball feel instant? Why does the world feel live? The honest answer is that it isn't live, and your brain has gone to extraordinary lengths to hide that from you. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how it does it. You'll know the trick it plays with time, the moments it goes completely blind and edits the blindness out, the places where it paints in detail that was never there, and the one experiment that suggests the editing reaches all the way into decisions you are certain you made yourself. The present you live in has been emptied out and rebuilt. Let's go through how. Start by throwing out the most natural assumption you have about your own eyes. You feel like vision works the way a camera works. Light comes in, and your brain displays whatever the light delivered, a live feed from the world into your head. That picture is comforting, and it is wrong. The neuroscientist Anil Seth at the University of Sussex has spent years arguing the opposite, most clearly in his 2021 book, Being You. His phrase for what perception actually is has stuck across the whole field. He calls it a controlled hallucination. Here's what he means. Your brain is locked inside a dark, silent skull. It never touches the world directly. All it ever gets are electrical signals coming up the nerves, and those signals are ambiguous on their own. So the brain does the only thing it can. It guesses. It builds a model of what's most likely out there, projects that model outward, and treats the model as reality. The incoming signals from your senses don't create the picture. They just correct it. They rein the guess in, so perception isn't the world flowing into you. It's your best prediction flowing outward, checked against reality and adjusted. When the prediction and the senses agree, you call it seeing. When the prediction runs loose with no sensory correction, you call it dreaming or hallucinating. The only difference is how tightly the world is holding the leash. Underneath Seth's framing sits a deeper theory from Seth Friston at University College London. In a 2010 paper in Nature Reviews Neuroscience, Friston proposed that the entire brain is built around one job: minimize surprise. The brain constantly predicts what its next input will be, compares the prediction to what arrives, and updates only on the error, the gap between guess and reality. On this account, the brain is not a receiver. It is a prediction engine, and perception is something it infers rather than something it receives. Sit with that, because it reframes the lag. If the brain were a passive camera, the 1/10 of a second delay would be a fatal flaw. You'd always be a step behind a moving world. But a prediction engine has a way out. It doesn't have to wait for the signal to arrive and then show it to you late. It can predict where the signal is going and show you that instead. It can run the model slightly ahead to cancel the delay, which means the smooth, on-time present you experience is not the world arriving. It is the brain's forecast of the world, served to you as if it were a live feed. Your brain doesn't show you reality. It shows you its best guess about reality and then hides the fact that it was guessing. That's the machine. Now watch what it does with time. Everything so far has been about the brain running forward, predicting ahead to cover the delay. But it does something far stranger than that. It also edits backward. It reaches into the recent past and changes what you already saw. The cleanest demonstration came in the year 2000 from David Eagleman and Terence Sejnowski, published in Science. They were studying an old visual puzzle called the flash lag effect. The setup is simple. A dot moves steadily across a screen. At the exact instant it passes the center, a second dot flashes right next to it, perfectly aligned. But that's not what people see. People see the moving dot already ahead of the flash, as if the flash lagged behind. For years, there were two competing explanations, and both assume the brain processes the flash in real time. Eagleman and Sejnowski ran a set of experiments that broke both of them. Their data showed something that sounds impossible. What you perceive at the moment of the flash is determined by what happens in the roughly 80 milliseconds after the flash. Read that again. The brain waits. It collects about 80 milliseconds of information from after the event, and only then decides what you saw at the moment of the event. They called it postdiction. Not prediction, where the brain guesses the future. Postdiction, where the brain reaches back and rewrites the past to fit information it didn't have yet. Your conscious now is not assembled live. It is assembled with a short delay, using the immediate future to fill in the moment you think you're experiencing. I want to be honest about where the science sits, because this channel is for people who fact-check. The postdiction interpretation was challenged almost immediately. In a 2000 paper, also in Science, Bart Kriekelberg and Marcus Lappa argued the same illusion could come from a simpler timing difference between how fast-moving and flashing objects are processed, with no backward editing required. That debate has run for 25 years and isn't fully closed, but here's what nobody disputes. The thing you experience as a single instantaneous present is not captured at a single instant. It is integrated over a window of time, and the brain has a say in how that window gets assembled. The present is a construction with a short production delay. The only open question is exactly how the editor works. So if the brain is backdating, smoothing, integrating over a window, there should be a moment where you can catch it red-handed. There is. You can run it yourself tonight. Find a clock with a ticking second hand, an analog wall clock, or the seconds display on a phone. Look away from it, off to the side. Then flick your eyes back to the second hand as fast as you can and watch that first tick. For a lot of people, the first tick seems to hang. It lasts too long. The hand looks frozen for a beat before the normal rhythm resumes. The clock appears for a moment to have stopped. This has a name: chronostasis, and it was nailed down in a 2001 paper in Nature by Keelan Yarrow and Patrick Haggard at University College London with their colleagues. They measured it carefully. After you flick your eyes to the clock, that first second can feel stretched by up to around 120 milliseconds longer than it really is. Now think about where that extra time comes from. When you snap your eyes from one place to another, that fast jump is called a saccade. During the jump, your vision is essentially useless. The world is smearing across your retina too fast to see. So the brain has a problem. There's a gap, a blank stretch while the eyes are in flight, and it can't show you a blank. Its solution is the trick. Whatever you land on, the clock face, The brain takes that image and stamps it backward in time, all the way back to before your eyes started moving. It pretends you were already looking at the clock during the whole jump. That backdating fills the blank with a seamless, continuous image. And the cost of stamping that first frame earlier than it really arrived is that the first tick gets stretched. You are literally perceiving a fraction of a second that never happened, pasted over the moment you were blind. Yarrow and Haggard proved this was the mechanism with one elegant move. If they secretly shifted the target while the eyes were mid-flight, breaking the sense that it was one continuous object, the illusion vanished. The backdating only happens to preserve the story that the world held still while you moved through it. So here's the answer to the question from the opening. Why has the lag never felt late? Because your brain doesn't just run behind reality. It lies about the timestamp. It takes whatever it finally processes and stamps it with an earlier time, so the recording always looks like it was happening right on schedule. The stopped clock is the one moment the forgery is clumsy enough to notice. If you tried that just now and felt the first tick hang, you just caught your own brain editing reality in real time. Finding moments like that one is the whole reason this channel exists. So if that is what you came for, take a second to subscribe, and I will keep bringing them to you. And chronostasis is only the part you can catch. The thing it's covering for is happening constantly, and it's stranger than a stretched second. Your eyes are not cameras holding a steady shot. They jerk. Those fast jumps, the saccades, happen around 3 times a second every waking moment, whether you want them to or not. Your eyes are flicking around the scene constantly, and you have no sense of it at all. During every one of those jumps, the image on your retina is a useless blur. By rights, you should see the world smear sideways several times a second, like a phone camera whipped across a room. You never do. The smear is gone. Edited out. The mechanism is called saccadic suppression, and one of the cleanest accounts of it came from David Burr, Conchetta Morrone, and John Ross in a 1994 paper in Nature. They found that during a saccade, the brain selectively shuts down one specific visual channel, the magnocellular pathway, the fast system that handles motion and sudden changes in brightness. It clamps that channel right before the eyes move and holds it down through the jump. So the smear never reaches you, not because your eyes stop sending it, but because the brain refuses to process it. For a slice of every second, several times a second, you are functionally blind, and the brain stitches the before and the after together so smoothly that the blindness leaves no trace in your experience. There's no gap, no flicker, no black frame. You can verify your own blindness with a mirror. Stand close, look at your left eye, then look at your right eye, back and forth. You will never, ever catch your eyes moving in the reflection. The motion is real. Anyone watching you sees it plainly. But the moment it happens is one of your edited out blanks. You are blind exactly when you look for it, and the editor has already covered the hole. Add it up. Every second you go blind several times, and the brain edits the blindness out before you can notice it was ever there. The continuous, stable world you're looking at right now is not continuous at all. It's a series of held images, separated by blanks, spliced together by a system that backdates the cuts, so you'll never see the seams. Cutting out what shouldn't be there is one half of the job. The other half is inventing what isn't there at all. There is a hole in your vision, a real one, in each eye right now. Where the optic nerve leaves the back of the eye, there are no light-sensing cells. Nothing. It's a genuine dead zone in your field of view, big enough to swallow several full moons laid side by side. You have lived your entire life with a blank spot punched in the middle of each eye's vision, and you have never seen it. You can find it. Close your right eye. Hold up your left thumb at arm's length. Look at the thumb. Then slowly move it out to the left while keeping your gaze fixed straight ahead. At a certain point, the tip of your thumb will simply vanish, swallowed by the blind spot, then reappear as you keep moving. The hole is there. The brain just doesn't let you see it as a hole. Instead, it does something more unsettling than ignoring the gap. It fills it in. In a 1991 paper in Nature, V.S. Ramachandran and Richard Gregory showed exactly how aggressive this filling is. They created an artificial blind spot, a gray patch sitting on a background of flickering visual noise. When people held their gaze steady, the gray patch didn't just go unnoticed. It vanished, actively painted over by the flickering pattern from all around it. The brain manufactured the texture that should have been there and pasted it across the gap. This is the crucial detail. Filling in is not the brain politely ignoring missing data. It is the brain generating a neural representation of stuff that was never measured and serving it to you as if it had been seen. Ramachandran and Gregory even found that color and texture get filled by separate machinery, which means there's a whole assembly process running behind your vision, fabricating the parts reality didn't provide. So combine everything to this point. Your brain shows you a prediction, not the world. It runs 1/10 of a second late, then backdates the timestamp to hide the lag. It goes blind several times a second and splices over the blanks. And where there's a permanent hole in the data, it paints in convincing detail that was never there. The seamless, complete, high-definition present you are experiencing is, in large part, a forgery. A very good one. And there is one more place the editing reaches, the place most people assume is off-limits. Everything so far has been about perception. What you see when you see it. But the editing might not stop at the senses. It might reach into the thing you're most certain is yours, the moment you decide to do something. In 1983, Benjamin Libet at the University of California published an experiment in the journal Brain that people are still arguing about more than 40 years later. The setup was simple. He asked people to flex a finger whenever they felt like it. No schedule, no cue, purely on a spontaneous urge. They watched a fast-moving dot on a clock and reported the exact position of the dot at the moment they first became aware of the decision to move. Meanwhile, Libet recorded the electrical activity building in their brains. He found something that lands like a punch. A specific brain signal, called the readiness-potential, began ramping up around 550 milliseconds before the finger moved. But the person's conscious awareness of deciding to move arrived only about 200 milliseconds before the movement. The brain started preparing the action roughly 1/3 of a second before the person felt themselves choose it. Read in the strongest way that says your conscious decision is not the cause of your action. It's a notification that arrives after the process is already underway. The feeling of deciding gets stamped onto your experience late, the same way the stop clock gets stamped early. Even your sense of being the author of your own movements would be part of the edit. Now, I have to be careful here, because this is the most overclaimed result in all of neuroscience, and you will get it wrong everywhere else. Libet's experiment did not prove free will is an illusion, and serious researchers have pushed back hard. In 2012, Aaron Scherger and his colleagues argued in PNAS that the readiness potential isn't a decision at all. It's just random background fluctuation in the brain, and the action fires when that noise happens to cross a threshold, which makes the timing far less spooky than it sounds. In 2016, Matthias Schulze-Kraft's team, also in PNAS, showed people could still cancel the movement after the readiness potential had begun. There's a veto. The early brain signal does not lock you in, so I'm not telling you that you have no will. The honest claim is narrower and, in a way, stranger. The conscious moment of deciding is not where it feels like it is. It is reconstructed and placed onto your timeline after the fact, just like everything else. Your sense of being a self who acts in real time is built by the same editor that handles your eyes. Which brings us back to the beginning and to what all of this is really telling you. Pull it all together, the raw present, the actual instant the world is happening. never reaches you. The signal takes 1/10 of a second to climb into awareness, so by the time anything becomes an experience, the event is already over. That's the floor. You are always, structurally, living in the past. On top of that floor, the brain does its work. It doesn't hand you the lagged feed. It predicts ahead to mask the delay, so the world feels on time. It backdates what it does process, stamping each moment with an earlier timestamp so the lag never shows. It blanks your vision several times a second and splices over the blackouts. It paints convincing detail into the holes where you have no data at all. And the felt moment of your own choices is reconstructed and slotted in after the deciding has already begun. None of that is broken. Every piece of it is doing a job, and doing it well. The brain is a prediction engine running 1/10 of a second behind a fast and dangerous world. And the smoothing, the backdating, the filling, the editing are all how it gives you a present you can actually act inside. The forgery is the feature. A perfect, honest, real-time feed would be useless, because by the time it finished arriving, the moment would be gone. But notice what got emptied out to make that possible. The thing you never get is the one thing you assumed you had. The raw, unedited, actually happening now. It was deleted in transit and rebuilt into something smoother, something on time, something whole. What you call the present moment is a reconstruction, served late, stitched over its own gaps, and backdated so you'll trust it. So the next time the world feels perfectly immediate, perfectly live, perfectly now, remember what that smoothness costs. It is the sign of an editor working flawlessly, hiding the lag, hiding the blanks, hiding the seams. You are not watching reality. You are watching a recording of reality, 1/10 of a second old, narrated by a brain that has quietly agreed never to tell you it's a recording. You have always been living in the past. You just weren't supposed to find out. If you want the next investigation when it lands, subscribe.